had a really good close look at how I was living my life. And then I devised this formula, and it said something like this. Basically, do you want to do this? Yes. Does it scare you? Yes. By the way, is it going to kill you? If yes, then, abort mission, don't do it. But if it's not going to kill you, then you're going to do it.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to Say Yes to Your Soul podcast. I'm your host, Tessa Lynn Alburn, and I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. This is the space where we empower women like you to connect deeply with your soul, to shine in your business, and live a life filled with purpose and joy. Whether you're seeking to embrace your inner brilliance, cultivate meaningful connections, or be generously compensated for the unique gifts you bring to the world, you've come to the right place. As we navigate the busyness of the new year, we'll explore how to honor the dark, restful days of winter and use them as an opportunity for soulful reflection and renewal. So get cozy, get present, and let's journey together into the season of transformation. Hello there. I am really excited today about introducing our guest. Her name is Einav Avni, and she's an energy healer and an alignment coach, and she specializes in helping people who have chronic pain, illness, or unexplained medical conditions. And she utilizes all kinds of amazing tools, such as the emotion code, body code, belief code, and something called the old pain to go technique, which I haven't heard of. That sounds interesting. And she does achieve remarkable transformations for her clients. Einav is passionate about uncovering the emotional root causes, and that's one of the essential keys, the causes of the symptoms. And she guides her clients from fear and gets them out of limitation, and she gets them into harmony and trust. She's also a 5-time author. She co-authored a book called The Power of Reinvention, and she authored the ebook series, Invest in Your Team's Confidence and Empowerment. And I'm really excited to have her here so you get to experience her undeniable passion. Einav, welcome to Say Yes to Your Soul.
Thank you so much, Tessa, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I know. Yeah, we were you're just so delightful. We were talking earlier, and the joy that just comes from you, like just because, is remarkable. I love it. I really just enjoy the light that you are. And you're going to be sharing a story today about yourself and how you were shy, basically very shy. And you shared with me that you had a lot of feelings of being unlovable. And this basically was all about your confidence, right? You just didn't have confidence, and you've learned it doesn't define you anymore and all of that stuff. But I would love for you to take our listeners on that journey with you so they can understand what it was like for you to go through those hardships and those struggles and then come out the other side.
Thank you. This is always it's always an interesting story for me to get back to, because I have been through so much and have come the other side. So sometimes like, wow, this was me really all these years ago. But yes, I grew up in a community type situation, and from very early on, I felt like I didn't belong, and I felt that I wasn't lovable. And this is just a story I was telling myself, because my parents moved us from the family home where I spent all of my living hours with my family. They moved us to this community where all of a sudden I only saw them on occasions, like 2-3 hours a day.
So may I just ask you a quick question there about the community?
Yeah, of course.
So was it like a kibbutz or something else?
It wasn't kibbutz. It's just not very popular these days to say where I'm from.
You know what? I think it's important. This is important. Where you're from is really important. And who you are is an amazing light in the world. So I don't think you should apologize for anything. There you go.
Yes, it is interesting actually to say where you're from, and then you're always like, yeah, let's see, if the person is open-minded, then it goes well, and if they're not, then it goes there. So
Yes, and if they're not open-minded, they need to keep listening to the show. Either way. All right.
either way, for me, that story of, how could my parents do this? Move me from being 18 months old, cute and adorable, to move me into a place where they could only really see me for 2 or 3 hours a day. And the story that I told myself was that it must be because I wasn't lovable. And then add to that I didn't really feel like I belonged in with the rest of the kids my age in my group. I really found myself struggling. I found myself not knowing, who is my friend, who is not my friend. Can I be myself? Do I need to be someone I'm not? There was a lot of questions there. So very early on, I developed this kind of two sides, really. That in company with other people, I was always on the wary side, not knowing, not feeling comfortable, not feeling confident, not feeling confident at all. That was probably my big thing. But then if someone did manage to get through the barrier and show me that I could trust them, then I was actually, I was a great friend. I always had words of wisdom. I always had things that people did seek being with me. I just didn't realize that, this is what was going on. So it wasn't until many years later, when I was about 23, and my ex-husband said to me, we were sitting in this cafe, it was called Euphoria, and he said basically, would you like to marry me? And in my mind, in a split second type thing, I was thinking to myself, well, nobody loved me until now. What are the chances of people loving me later on?
Oh.
I should say yes.
Oh.
And I did. So I always say, to make things a little bit lighter, I always say that I was not very impressed with my marriage, but I was very impressed with my divorce.
I love how you just framed that. Yes, very impressed with your divorce. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. The divorce came 7 years later. But what happened after my ex-husband left, I realized that actually I didn't know who I was. I mean, I knew who we kind of were together, but I didn't know who I was before the marriage with this, statement that I just shared. And I definitely didn't know who I was after. And I decided to go and see a therapist to just, help out a little bit. And this was the days before the internet or anything, that you could really find out about a person before you met them. And I met this particular therapist in a church hall, which was, a huge room, and he was kind of placed at the back of the church hall. And as I got closer to meeting him for the first time, I realized he was reeking of alcohol. He was completely drunk, and I was like, okay, I already made the effort, and also I think I was feeling a little bit lonely at the time, and so I sat down and I told him my story, and from within the fumes, he said really the sentence that changed my life. He said, "You're really simply lacking the powers of your own convictions." And I was like, "Oh my God, it is so simple. It really is that. I don't believe in me. I don't trust myself. I need other people to validate me. I need people to tell me that this is a good idea. Because of this lack of confidence, and then I realized it was really, I didn't need all of these other people. I just needed me, and I wasn't showing up for me.
Mm.
And what ensued really after that was that I decided to make a huge change, and I developed this formula.
Okay, well, you had like one therapy session with somebody who reeked of alcohol, and that was all you needed. That's brilliant.
It was just this one sentence that made all the change. It was incredible. I just never thought about it myself. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And so then I went home and I thought about it, and I really looked at everywhere that I was not having, not having my powers and not believing in my own convictions and stuff. And I could see that I was operating from fear. So every time if you would say, hey, let's do this, let's go that, whatever, I was nervous. I didn't know. I guess in retrospect, I understood that I still didn't know if that was a good idea. But if someone said this was a good idea, I would say yes. And most of all, if my mom said it was a good idea, then that was for sure a good idea. That was very, that was a free pass thing. If my mom said it was a good idea.
Just go with it. Mom said it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And that's, I went home and I had a really good close look at how I was living my life. And then I devised this formula, and it said something like this. Basically, do you want to do this? Yes. Does it scare you? Yes. By the way, is it going to kill you? If yes, then, abort mission, don't do it. But if it's not going to kill you, then you're going to do it. And that's what I've done. So all of a sudden, and there was fear. There was fear all around, but I didn't let it stop me anymore. So everything that scared me, I did. So I went and did a diving course, and I took a helicopter ride because that terrified me. And I went traveling by myself, and I went to learn how to teach English as a foreign language with my spelling mistakes and my accent. Yeah, I was like, embrace it. And the more things I did, I went traveling. I was teaching English in Mongolia for a year. I did it. Everything that scared me, I looked it in the eye, and if it wasn't going to kill me, I was going to do it. And then the more I was doing things, I realized that actually other people, they looked confident, but they were not doing anything. They were just living their life, from routines, from habits, from fear. No one ever done anything, and I wasn't doing what I was doing to get any rewards or collation or anything. But I could look at what I was doing and see that actually I was probably the most confident person in the room, and that was something actually to realize that. It was just a mindset, really, that I wasn't trusting me, but here I was doing everything.
Did you have like a particular time where it was just like, bing, I get it? Like there was a moment you were at a party or a gathering or something like that where that occurred to you? Or was it more like subtle where you woke up one morning and you just had a sense of something was different? Or tell me a little bit about that awareness.
This is interesting. So I could feel that I was doing things. I really enjoyed it because I was free. I felt that freedom, and I felt like there was nothing that could stop me. But it was something that my younger brother said actually when I was talking to him one day from Mongolia, and it was his appreciation that made me realize how far I've come. Since these days. Because he said he was telling about me to his friends, the people that he was meeting on his travels, and they were full of admiration actually. And I was like, that's me that they're admiring,
Yeah.
and that really made me see things through other people's eyes. And it was no longer about their validating or proving or anything. It was just it felt nice to be all of a sudden the source of inspiration for other people.
Yes, that can be a game changer. It gives us just that reflection, helps us own it even more and like go to the next level of our being or our expression.
Exactly.
Well, what came next for you?
So I first of all, this idea of, does it scare me and all of that, this is still something that I'm very much doing today. The latest, I guess, crazy thing that I've done was taking my daughters to India, backpacking it was in 2020. And this was a great example. I'm not sure necessarily that in the bigger scheme of things, that was necessarily a clever thing to do. But it was definitely an adventure and definitely, an opportunity to put this exactly the question of does it scare you into practice, because I was, I've been to India before, but I wanted to come back. And then there was a situation that I was like, do you know what? I'm taking my daughter. I always wanted to do that. We're going backpacking. And I mean, to put this in perspective, they were 9 and 13 at the time.
My, yeah, young.
And I was like, it's gonna be fine. And I remember waking up one night and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? We haven't left it, but I was full of fear. In my mind, I could see everything and anything going wrong. I mean, there was 3 women, 1 woman, 2 kids coming into, I could go through everything. And then I did something else. I did a research. And I said, everything and anything and everything I ever knew about India and all the Indian people that I ever met, all of them were so lovely and beautiful and inspirational and spiritual and, a whole world of beautiful things about them. And I was like, this is the energy I prefer to connect with. And I trusted that everything is going to be just as beautiful as any Indian person that I've ever met. And this is exactly the experience that we had. It was beautiful and challenging. I mean, what are challenges? But, in the bigger scheme of things, it just showed me that actually fear doesn't really belong with us.
I like that example a lot. And so when you're talking about that reset, it sounds like one of the things that you tapped into was something you already had you had just a little bit of experience with. And you're like, wait a second, that just can't fit with all this fear over here. So I'm going to say no to the fear and I'm going to say yes to the truth I already know, or that, that I can put my faith into. It sounds like there was a little bit of faith also in operation.
There was, it was really, if it came to my, to my conscious awareness that this is what I want to do, and if everything is aligning, it means that this can only be the right thing to do. And yes, there was a lot of trust that things will just work themselves out. And it's exactly that. I mean, we ended up being there only for 3 months because then the pandemic started. And then, as foreigners, we were basically asked to live in the nicest possible way.
Yes. 3 months, though, that's really incredible with 2 youngsters. And I think that unto itself, just like really trusting as a mom that you knew that you were going to be able to keep your kids safe, that things would be okay, because anything can happen, and it did. I mean, COVID happened, right? And that was not something that was even on the menu before. Right.
But it was important for me actually, because the fear could have taken hold very quickly, very easily.
Yes.
And I did have to ask myself, some people will hear it and will say, how can you do this, and how can you put your kids in danger and stuff like that? But of course, this danger is everywhere. It's not necessarily in a particular place.
It's not just backpacking in India. Exactly. It's right down the street. It can be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, when we went, I mean, we had the most incredible connection with people. I remember one time on the train station, this elderly guy that was selling fruit, he knew what train we needed to go, and we couldn't figure out the train signage there at all. And he came to tell us, even though he didn't speak English, and at that time, I didn't speak Hindi. Just by communication, he was just telling us the next train is the one that you're looking for. I mean, people looking out for you in a way that they don't do here. So being able to focus on these beautiful things and the gift of the connection with people, that was really, no one can take it away from us, really.
Oh, what an incredible experience to have in terms of, humanity and getting to experience a lot of the best of that. Yeah, that sounds amazing, Einav.
It was really, there was, like I said, there was lots of challenges, but it was such an incredible experience, and I'm going to go back for sure.
And are your kids cool with everything? Like
They might not come back so quickly, but it's for them to decide.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so I know you want to make sure that the listeners here today understand sort of like the essence of what your journey into confidence was about. And what is the message you'd like to leave with them today?
I think that the most important thing is really that we have a negative voice that is very, very active, and it's so active, and we're so used to it that it sounds like our intuition. But really, I want to be the one to burst this bubble and say that the negative voice is a liar, and it is holding us back from wherever it is that we want to do or get to. So don't take it sitting down, ask the questions, and that's the most beautiful thing that you can give yourself, is basically start doubting the negative conversation that you have.
Yes, challenge it, doubt it, tell it to be quiet, all of that.
Just ask it. The question I always ask is, are you 100% sure that this is going to go wrong or badly, or that you're going to fail?
Awesome question. Yes, 100%. I bet almost no one has 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if it's not 100%, then why are you allowing it to dictate if you're going to do it or not? Just do it. Just do it and prove it wrong. That's
I love that. And when we were speaking earlier, you also said something about the struggle, and I know you have a really firm belief around that as well, and what we're really here to do. Would you like to speak to that a little?
I think it's very similar, but I believe that we're not here to struggle. I believe that we're here to learn and evolve and move on. And especially with my clients and the work around the chronic pain, chronic illness, or unexplained medical conditions, I want to say, don't take it sitting down. Find a solution, and a solution that sounds a little bit cold, but I don't mean that. I mean, find a natural way to move yourself forward, because I believe that chronic conditions, most of the time, they come from, repressed emotions, from stress, from trauma, that things that we're not dealing with, things that we're not bringing up into the open. But when we do, we can heal. That's the message of alignment that I want to bring, is that when we operate from fear, we have, we bring ourselves more closely into all these conditions that we don't want. And when we start to operate from alignment and harmony and trust, then it means that we've learned the lessons and the messages that the subconscious mind is trying to give us of the reason why we got these conditions to begin with.
Beautifully spoken. Thank you for that. I want you to share with the audience, we've just got a couple more minutes here, so a couple of things. I would love for you to share with them how you perceive the soul.
The soul, for me, it's a little bit, sometimes it's interchangeable. I sometimes call it the universe, and sometimes I call it, our subconscious mind. But the soul is all knowing, all present, and it's always there to guide us, into our best version of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So when we allow ourselves to quieten down and listen, we will be guided, and the soul is always there to guide us and to catch us.
Yes. And this is let's see, I'm going to ask the quirky question, which is going to be, if you were going to be marooned on a desert island, what one book would you take with you?
There is one book that made huge impact on me many years ago. It's called The Heart of Buddhism, something like that. It was one of the most incredible books, also one of the most challenging books to read. But it really told me everything about Buddhism. And all of a sudden, when you understand about attachments and you understand about how much suffering we create for ourselves, you can see that really when you have this understanding, it doesn't matter where you are, it's all okay. You're going to be fine. It's more the expectations, the attachments, the ego that we bring into situation that is causing problems. So that book is the one that I would love to sit with again.
Fantastic. And we'll put that in the show notes. I know that a lot of listeners might be interested in that. So thank you. So please share with the listeners here today how they can get in touch with you.
Thank you. Easiest place is my website, untangledhealing.com. It explains everything about what I do and my approaches and my modalities. I wonder if you want me to share briefly about the Old Pain to Go, because I think it's quite interesting as well.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes.
Do you have
Please.
A few minutes?
Yes.
So the Old Pain to Go is a modality created by Stephen Blake. And the idea with that is that really when we go through an injury or fall or something goes wrong in the body will take about 3 months to heal. Around 3 months. It takes about 3 months to heal. And in the 3 months, the messages of pain, which of course come from our brain and not from the injured organ, in these 3 months, the pain will slowly reduce so that you know that you're actually on the correct healing path. But if something goes wrong, say you fell and you broke your arm and everything is getting better, but then after 2 months, all of a sudden there is new pain, then basically you know that something is wrong and you need to go back to the doctor and, find out what's going on.
This is so synchronous. Today, literally this morning, when I was thinking about you coming onto the show, I was like, one of the problems that I see with people is that they're trying to solve problems for way too long, right? It's like they have a mask over their eyes. They can't see that they're not actually getting better. And I love that you brought this into the conversation. So, 3 months, right? There should be improvement, exactly. Not setbacks. Yeah.
So in 3 months, this 3 months means that this is called acute pain. It's still pain that is, healing. But at the end of 3 months, if you still have pain, it means that the brain somehow got itself into a loop. And it believes that it still needs to send pain messages to the organ, to the system. Now, it either works on the basis of there is, that it knows that it's the 3 months basically, and still the body is working on healing, or it actually responds to the anxiety or fear that we then develop around this thing. And so what happens is that we're in constant pain, and there's no sight of healing because the brain doesn't recognize that actually it's time for it to stop sending pain messages. So with the Old Pain to Go, what we basically do is that it's like it's like hypnosis, I guess, or hypnosis or reset, where we get in touch with our subconscious mind and we said to it, actually, if you don't need to give pain messages to this organ or whatever the situation is, then you don't have to, because it's time to let that go. And what it does is that all of a sudden the subconscious mind or the brain, it says, okay, recalculating, doing all of these things and noticing that it was sending the pain messages based on pain and on fear and anxiety rather than
an actual problem. Yes.
So pain just goes away.
That's remarkable. Thank you for describing that.
Old Pain to Go. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you have a free gift. You also have a course for folks. So yes. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, of course. This is a free online course. It's called 5 Steps to a Confident You. And the course really takes you kind of on my journey from not having confidence to understanding the negative voice, the lies of the negative voice, being introduced to your intuition and the other side of that, really learning to be more empowered and then confident. And it gets really good reviews and responses from people. So I'm sure people will enjoy it as well.
Fantastic. And it sounds like something that could still be a benefit to people who are already on a journey of self-awareness, that there could be other little dust bunnies in there and levels of things that they haven't noticed before.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's at least one nugget that they can take away.
Yes, for sure. Einav, thank you for bringing your beautiful, brilliant self here today and for sharing your story and inspiring people and helping them to look at things in a different light. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was lovely being here with you today.
You're welcome. All right, ladies, I wish you an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Many blessings, and may you say yes to your soul. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me on this soul-nourishing journey today. I hope you're feeling inspired to embrace the stillness of the winter season, connect with your inner wisdom, and allow space for your soul to rest and regenerate. Remember, the darkness of winter is not something to fear or to rush through. It's a powerful time for growth, for healing, and for accessing divine guidance. Before you go, I'd love to invite you to take a moment to reflect on today's episode and perhaps explore the meditation I've created just for you. It's designed to help you connect with the angelic realms and invite love and guidance into your life. You can find it at sayyestoyoursoulpodcast.com/multiverse meditation, and I'll also link it in the show notes for you. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review and share it with someone you think might benefit from this message. You deserve to say yes to your soul, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take a deep breath, honor the quiet, and trust that the universe is working in your favor. Stay present, stay connected, and most of all, stay true to you.